friends, welcome back. So here we are taking a look at Link and Tezos. Excuse me for getting that wrong. We're back here taking a look at Tezos, and what have we got on the go? Well, it's certainly not Link, in the sense that we were asking this question about whether or not we'd be consolidating this in this area, in the bigger time frame, like Link has been here, and you can see on this Tezos chart that this lower line just doesn't seem to be cutting the mustard for us really in terms of its placement, but that's not necessarily, much of a surprise. It was only kind of drawn in with haste, and as you can see, it doesn't actually fit on there perfectly anyway. It was more or less just to demonstrate a point, so I can just kind of leave it like that for now, but it doesn't really matter. What we're really asking, actually no, I'll not just leave it like anything, I'll just take it off there because it doesn't, just like I say, it doesn't really matter. What we're really looking at is will this area of the 886 that we visited over there on the 15th of May operate for us as having been the area for it to turn around at. Now, it does so often be the case, it is so often the case that it's so often the case, sorry about my wee bell going off there, little notifications, that the prices turn around at 886. So, that could happen, absolutely. But what we're really doing here is kind of being pushed around by the far bigger market cap coin of Bitcoin here. And the Bitcoin pricing changing itself is what's pushing the dynamic around so much. And if we go over to the dollar pricing, you can see that it's hardly changed today. So the Bitcoin pricing here, so a 3% change, and the dollar pricing a 0.3% change. So it's everything's very much on the Bitcoin pricing is being determined by the Bitcoin versus dollar price as opposed to the Bitcoin versus Tezos price, really. And so looking here towards the dollar price is a bit more is a little bit better for us at the meantime. I still think that this is generally speaking the case for us at the minute, and that we could look towards the upper side targets of 285. I would like us to get above the previous high over here at 280 and challenge this green line in the next over the next couple of days and try to move towards that 290 and potentially onto the $3 area. But as we can see here, the volume's still been diminishing. Pardon me. It's not like we've got much, we've not got any sort of divergence coming in here on Tezos to give us sort of a great deal of hope. But with this low here being higher than the previous low, you can't look towards that. So previously during this, if it were a downward trend, there wasn't any bullish divergence there to be had. But anyway, things turn around without divergence all the time. That's fine. So we have to start asking the question then, will we manage to maintain this upward trajectory? So they don't want to see the prices dropping down to that 250 area again before we've come up to the sort of 280 area, just in terms of the meantime, or else we're consolidating in this area. We can ask some different questions, and we'll be doing that in tomorrow's video, should that turn out to be the case. If we just jump over to the Tezos price chart here on HIT BTC, you can see that we're just below the 258 target here on this exchange. And that's because there's a slight price difference here again. So 255 on HIT BTC, whereas we're on 263 on the other exchanges. So there's a good 5-cent price difference. In fact, if you look at HIT BTC, you can see the prices have gone down by 0.78%, whereas over here they've gone up by 0.5%. So there's this dynamic happening here at times where this exchange has got some sort of questionable price action happening, but nevertheless, in and around these pivots is actually being, in a sense, kind of revealing to us. And perhaps if we break above this 259 area, go back to the 260s and actually live in that area again, we can start aiming toward busting into this generally speaking ascending broadening wedge area with a little bit more gusto yet again. That would be quite good to see. If that could happen, that would be quite good to see. Potentially, if it were to amortize with the Coinbase exchange and bring us up into this area here, we could be challenging at this upward sloping resistance line for us and looking to move up beyond it in general. Oh, I've got a line here which I just drew in. Just remove that. So anyway, yeah, so that's it. But I'm not placing much emphasis necessarily on this green line here at the bottom of the ascending broad and wedge. Not particularly, not really. But I'll leave it on there anyway just for now, because it is giving us some indication, as you can see here over the last couple of touches, that there is some resistance in at that 268 area. It's the 258 area that I'm really kind of concerned about in terms of HIT BTC. And I'm using this chart just for the last couple of minutes to point something out here. You can see on the 24-hour time frame that we continue to have this downward sloping volume. It's quite clear there. If we just move out of the way, you can see it's quite clearly just going down on average. Whereas I drew that red line in there on the last video to show that on the sort of smaller time frames, perhaps it had been going up on the 12 hour. Was it 12 hour? Perhaps it had been going up. Ugh, the line's disappeared. Is it because I've moved the chart around? It sure is. Just move it back so it fits on. There we go. I thought, for a couple of days there, it looked like maybe, it was going up, but again, that's just the standard sort of the standard deviation effect there. So don't count your chickens. Essentially, it still continues to go towards the downside, which is okay, fair enough. We're kind of a decrease in volume in a period in and around consolidating in and around an area at resistance. This could be quite healthy for us if we see an uptake in volume pushing us past this area and past this node here at the 270 area to have some more rocket fuel, so to speak, to go towards the upside, having given the oscillators a good chance to reset. Excuse all the muck on there. A chance to reset, because what we were looking at before, if you can remember, was that the prices were up here in these overbought conditions, where for us to continue towards the upside, we would have had to have seen it going up to all-time highs and to going up to that Walter White final 3%, it's the hardest to get style area at the top there. So we've had this resetting of the oscillators, as you can see here, coming down into what could be considered oversold territory when you go past the neutral line during an upward trend. And essentially, that's what this is. This is the oscillators resetting. That's what that is. So we've got that. That's visible for us. And on 12 hour, you can see we've got the 50 simple is actually giving us a sort of fair enough indication of the trend and the resistance. The 21 having been just kind of captured there on the 24-hour time frame, just moved above it. So let's see this continue towards the upside. Hopefully, at some point, the interest will pick up in it again, and we'll have the rocket fuel to continue going back up again, up the way. Obviously, looking towards 279. 296 and then the $3 and so on and so forth. And of course, the difference between the exchanges being about that 7 cents at the minute means there's like that extra little bit of potential sort of momentum in terms of that other chart there for it, and we can see how things go. I'm interested in it as ever, and yes, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks very much for sticking with the channel. All the best. I really appreciate everybody who's a member here, and please hit the subscribe button and all that sort of stuff, and hit the like button, leave a comment to let me know you're watching down below. I appreciate that the video is a bit later today. It'll probably be a bit later over the next wee while, as I sort of just spend the day trying to catch up on the sleep I didn't get in the previous night, whatever. I'm not that unwell. Don't worry about me. I'm fine. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next episode.